All right, and there we are. We're ready to go. So welcome, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us. We really do appreciate the time that you spend with us each month. We did have last month we had a skip on last month, but that was kind of by design for there wasn't really much for us to be able to cover, and there was some big news that was sitting in the wings that we wanted to work our way around. So. Without further ado, let's get into it. If you do have any questions at all, as I said, feel free to drop them into the chat. If you like our various different social links are on there. So if there's things that you like, if you want to post in there that you attended the community call, that would be great, and we'd appreciate that. Certainly tag Skillable in Skillable, or Skillable Labs if you're on Instagram, if that's your thing. I have a teenage daughter who is just got into Instagram, so therefore I'm starting to kind of understand it more than what I used to before. So I'm still. I'm still a 50-year-old who's lost in a strange land at times, though. Right, so let's have a look, though. I'm going to get used to this layout of the screen now. So apologies as I sort of fumble my way through just getting in layout. All right, here we go. Okay, so the agenda for what we've got today, we've got sort of our normal, if you've been on one of these before, welcome back. Otherwise, we have a normal sort of welcome, which has some a collection of sort of announcements and that sort of thing around new labs, in particular new vendor labs that are around. Today we've also got a section for Microsoft Build, and in Microsoft Build some of the participation that Microsoft certified trainers as well as MVPs can have with the Microsoft Build conference. And then we've got some instructor recognition that we run as well. So that's always a very exciting part of the monthly calls, just to call out people that have reached milestones. I will say that although we've still got him on the agenda, Quinn unfortunately is not able to join us today. I decided to leave his face in there so that you knew what he looked like and you knew what you were missing out on in not having him here today. He's had a last minute thing that he's been called away from, and he does apologize, but that's okay. I will cover across all the content that we were going to have a chat with Quinn about, and sort of give you some of the goods and some of the information around that. So that's in our Microsoft Build discussion. So when that comes up shortly. We will obviously try to, we'll stay within our time frame, so that you then are not having to overcommit how much time you're spending with us. Okay, a couple of little things in here. So for our Microsoft updates, so some of the recently published mock content. So there's the Copilot for Microsoft 365 admins, the DevOps Foundations, Information Protection and Data Loss Prevention for the SC 5003, and the AZ 1005, configuring the Azure Virtual Desktops for the enterprise. So they're new mock courses that have been released. You might notice on there, though, that they're in that that newish sort of numbering system. That newish sort of numbering system leads us on to all now of the applied skills courses that are available. So those courses, those new mock courses that have been released, are actually part of the applied skills. Now turned into ILT courses that have been released out. So it is more options that's available to be able to take advantage of the content that's contained within there, but to be able to build and run an actual classroom around around that content. So kind of in particular with those, it's like there's some of the things that I know that as instructors we've kind of really trying to yell for. things like, say, for instance, the Copilot content and that sort of thing that's pretty good to be able to have that now in place. So do encourage you to look at this, see if it fits in with your any of the course requirements that you might have, and bear in mind that they are available. If you are a newish Microsoft training services partner, you can go directly through the marketplace.skillable.com to be able to get access to those, or contact your get your admin to contact the sales folk for that. So good question from Azar, which is, can you take the challenge exams for these applied skills via the Skillable platform? So no, the challenge exams are still going to be done via the Microsoft Learn environment. So the idea of this is to be able to give, like, this is the courses that run along, like this is a course that run along around that content. The actual challenge part of itself is still held in on Microsoft ground. So good question. So now the other thing, I didn't actually add the slide in for this because it was kind of a bit of a late breaking one, but we do have, if you're a Veeam training environment or Veeam training center, there is a new release that Veeam have announced is coming, and that's going to be it's a version 12, but it's version 12.5. So basically, it's a .1.5. It's a new version of the version 12 labs that's being released. That is also changing the duration of the course as well. So which will probably be a welcome change, because I know that there was a lot of content that was kind of crammed into the current 3 days. So it is being adjusted out to 4 days. Obviously, there's commercials, and that's the thing that the commercial decisions that need to go around that as to how you run those courses. But bear in mind that change is coming, so that'll be a potentially a good thing for your training center. And certainly, as I said, if you're a Veeam instructor, that'll be a bit of a welcome change, because it gives you a little bit more breathing space. Some of the labs are being rewritten, some of the content's being rewritten around it as well, to put some more content in place as well. But with the extra day to be able to do. So brings us then on to Microsoft Build. So Microsoft Build, an event coming up in Seattle in May. So it is towards the end of May. It is Microsoft's traditional developer conference. And for the first time in quite a while, there is opportunities now for MCTs and MVPs to be able to participate in the Microsoft Build conference as part of the sort of the behind the scenes, but in the staffing area. So there are a number of different roles that are available. They are volunteer roles, so that's the first thing to mention. So you do have to support your own transport to and from. You have to support your own accommodation, etc. And in return, what we'll do, there'll be a commitment of some hours at the conference. In return for that, though, you get a full conference pass. So basically, when you're not sitting in behind the scenes, and we've got a few different roles that we've got available. There are subject matter experts that Microsoft require. There is opportunity for some speakers as well. So some speaker roles as determined that Microsoft, for content that Microsoft have. And then there's also going to be, we're running the certification area. So where people can actually go and do certification testing. So we'll need some proctors for that area. In addition to that, there will be there'll be some what we call technical learning guides, and they're essentially the assistants in the room for things like the instructor-led lab rooms. So there's multiple places where you can participate. What we try to do is kind of share the load out as such, like so that you do actually have a good opportunity to be able to go and do to be able to go and participate in the conference itself. This is the first, hopefully, of many opportunities that we're going to be able to offer through this. Like for those MCTs who might have been around for a while, we used to be able to do this quite a bit. Like there used to be at Ignites or TechEds before them, and Build and various different sort of like toured conferences as well. There was opportunities that were available for this. Now, a lot of that came in-house within Microsoft, and now it's coming back out again. So as I said, it's a good opportunity. There will be some official wording coming out from Microsoft around this that will give you, like the sort of the full wording and around the commitments, etc. But what I wanted to do for those that are attending today is to give you the first part, right? So you actually have like the first bite of the cherry on it as such. So I've just dropped into the chat window the link for the staffing page. So if you are interested, if that's something that you think, hey, I could get involved with doing that, then please feel free to put that application in. Obviously, like understanding that it's not that far away from when the actual conference is. The conference date itself is the 21st of May to the 23rd of May. So I'm just looking inside at my calendar. That's why I was looking off to the side there. So yeah, like it isn't far away, and we try to build in some flexibility for say, for instance, if there's particular items at the conference you want to be able to go see, then you can swap with other folk. If there's folk that are on if you get assigned to a room during a particular time, there's the session you want to see, then you can swap out, etc. So that you have the opportunity to be able to get as much out of the conference as possible, while still being able to participate behind the scenes. So this, as I said, we've done this in past. It's always been a really good opportunity to be able to get involved. I'll put up my hand and say that back in TechEd Canberra in Australia, this is my first involvement with doing events with Hindsight as it was back then, through our various different sort of iterations. That was my first interaction with the company, was being part of the events. It is a really, really cool opportunity. Your feet get very sore by the time you're done for the day, because essentially you spend your entire day standing up on your feet. But it's a really good opportunity to kind of to flex some of those personal skills that you, as an instructor or as an MVP, already have, and being able to interact with folk and just sort of like you get to meet speakers and that's the thing. If you're not doing one of the speaker roles, but you get to meet the folk you're supporting. So some of those might be people that you are already familiar with, but you now get to interact with them on a different level as well. So yeah, good opportunity. So as I said, the official word will be coming out from Microsoft through the normal sort of channels. But that's I wanted to, for anyone that was in today, drop into the chat, so you've got the option to be able to go and have a think about it and put your name down if you need to, or if you want to, and we will. I should also say that if you are, say for instance, if you've already signed up to go to Build, then part of that process, say for instance, you've already committed, you bought a ticket to Build, and now this opportunity is available. That doesn't discount you. What it does mean is that we can actually work with Microsoft to refund your Build ticket, and instead you change over to staff participation. So yeah, particularly for those that might already be there, then this is a good option as well. So Okay, all right. So, of course, if you have any questions about that, please feel free to drop that into the chat. So, John's got a question about how an MCT participates in courseware lab creation. Do you mean the Microsoft Lab, like Microsoft Labs, like so mock, John? Is that what you're referring to there, or is it like wider sort of like lab creation you're referring to? And while John puts that information in. So okay, okay, yeah, like so if you're wanting to do lab creation, like which say for instance our challenge labs, that sort of thing, is that the sort of thing? Because that's really the lab creation that we do. Then yeah, we can certainly our content team are all looking for always looking for subject matter experts to be able to assist. If you want to drop me an email, I can then forward on your details. It's not something that happens all the time. It's something that comes up every now and then. So I just want to sort of caution you with that. It's not something that you'd be able to go, right, this is what we're doing. But yeah, like there's certainly, if there's particular courses that need development on, or labs that need development on, then certainly we do have some folk that are we do have some subject matter experts that we will call on, and so if you want to join that list, then that's certainly something that's possible. Genevieve, how do you access the Microsoft Office 365 authentications on the labs? So Genevieve, are you referring to the because I saw the question earlier that you were giving to everyone else, so that's why I didn't sort of answer it out. For signing into your own Microsoft apps and authentication, is that what you're referring to in there? Because if that's the case, then the process of signing into those should be the same, regardless of like if you're doing it through the lab. It's the only thing might be that you might need to look at the accounts that are built into the lab itself, so that if you're using your own accounts to be able to log in, then you might find that some of them are already logged in with that previous, with the embedded accounts. So you might need to look at that to remove those logins. If that's the case, if there's something in particular that is causing you some issues, we do have some support resources available as well. So if you have a look at, it's not the one that I was looking for. I'll dig up the link for it. We do actually have there's a feedback option where you can give us some feedback on some of that content. If there's particular things that is causing you problems, then let us know. So. Okay, so are you? I think I understand what your question is now. So you're wondering about if the lab has like the Microsoft 365 contained within it, that it'll only have the core, like the core apps versus the Project Visio and SharePoint as part of those the Microsoft 365 apps. And so you're wanting to have like Project Visio and SharePoint in addition to that. Gotcha. Okay. That's probably something that we should take offline to be able to see if there's a way to solve that for you. Depending on what the course is, it will be determined by the developer of that particular content, which type of license gets associated with it, and then that's then going to impact obviously what's available as part of what's available for your course. But say, for instance, if you're teaching a course, if it's a lab that should have Project Visio and SharePoint in it, then that should be part of it. If you're extending over the top of an existing lab that might be designed for something else, then that's something different. So that's something that we might try and see if we can come up with a solution for you for that. So, okay. Does the license cover soft skill when they have the license? Yeah, so it will depend on what the course is. So the so John, the Microsoft 365 Copilot. So I'm sure that you have probably looked at the MCT forum, like the forums in there, and noticed that pretty much every MCT that exists has that exact same feedback about Microsoft 365 Copilot and having access to it. So this is something that, that Microsoft are certainly aware of. Like, there's been discussions around it, etc. I know because I've been in the room with where I was at the training services provider summit in Singapore at the beginning of this year, and that was something that was said loud and clear during that. So it is well and truly something that Microsoft are aware of. It's just a matter of what the mechanics look like. So yeah, that's certainly something that would be through the MCT forums for that. But yeah, I know that they are aware of it. So and aware of that ask from us as MCTs. So all right. So now we come to the fun part of the community calls. Is some of our instructor recognitions of that's come through now, because we didn't have a meeting last month. This is now basically we're doing a bit of a catch-up. So this is the things that the people that have had their milestones since February 2024. So let's go on to here. So we had 363 instructors who taught their first class in the last 2 months. So that's obviously that's a big thing, right? The first class, first delivery. Always, and I'm sure that any of you who are you stand up in classes, you can remember what that first class was like. So that's a really good mark for them to be able to make, and to be able to then go on for bigger and better. So Ranjith and Jeff reached 25 classes. Just looking down the list to see if we've got any either of those folk in today. No, but we do have Craig. So Craig, congratulations on your 50 classes. And I know that that'll be 50 classes that are counting on the Skillable platform, because I know that you've probably done far more than that. But congratulations, and Craig is here today. So congratulations to you. Then we've got the milestones for the number of students that have been reached. So Arman has 10 students, the first 10 students, and again, not on the list into here. Christian and Jeff reached 250 students, and then Sanjeet, I think it's signed up, but it isn't in the call, reached 500 students. And so Genevieve, if you're close to 1,000, I'm going to guess that you're going to be showing up on one of our lists in months to come. So the thing that I really like about this, when we do these recognition items, is that that it is it's one of those things that as instructors, it's often hard to see the impact that we make. Right, you have students come in and then leave. Students come in and leave, they're during week in, week out. And over time, you don't really understand what that impact actually is, right? And I'm getting goosebumps saying this, because it's one of those things that does actually make me a little bit emotional when I talk about it, because those people regardless of what it was that they came into your classroom for, have left with a little bit more knowledge. Some more, some less. But have left with more knowledge than what they started with, and that's one of those things that when they go out into their work life, that may make a difference between a promotion or not a promotion. That may be, that little nugget of information that was a throwaway line that you gave them about something. You went, you know what? This is something you need to be aware of. That's made the difference between a successful day at work and not a successful day at work. So, when you look at those students, whether it's one student, whether it's 10 students, whether it's 1,000 students, whether it's Aaron who's in the call today, who has 75 students, just congratulations on the impact that you make, right? And take that away, as a, this is something that you will have made an impact on someone's life, right? Big or small, you've made a difference to them. So congratulations, and onwards and upwards. And Genevieve, well, hopefully we get to see you there in months to come. So and hopefully all of you will see you there in months to come. Big congratulations. All right, so just a reminder of the instructor offers that we have at Skillable for you to be able to participate. So we do have free access to be able to prep for your classes and expand knowledge. So therefore, if you are an instructor, depending on what the vendor is that you're an instructor for, that'll be your that'll give you then access to, say, for instance, the Microsoft content, to Veeam content, that sort of thing, or overall to our challenge labs, that you have access to all of those. So that then gives you the ability to leverage off the environments. That free access means that you can, say, for instance, if it's a topic that you might want to expand your knowledge on and move outside of, then you can certainly do that as well. You're not stuck to just the courses that you're being assigned, or the classes that you're being tagged to be able to teach. So part of that comes through the mock lab access. So, and the MCT all access pass. Now the MCT all access pass, as well as the AWS all access pass, those are the ones which are for the challenge labs. So that gives you access to all of our challenge labs to be able to work through. Okay. And you can then, complete something that might be way off topic from your normal sort of a set of skills. And in addition to that, obviously we do the instructor recognition and badging, which is what you've got. Well, what we just did now. All of those, to be able to participate in those, sign up at skillable.com/offers. That'll give you access into those. Okay. All right. Now we're a little bit ahead of time today, which is good. So we do have some time now for some conversation and QA. Now, obviously, we've had some of those things raised already. I'm not sure if there's any further questions that folk might have, but otherwise, I can. This is it's one of those phrases that I hear from Microsoft if I'm in meetings with Microsoft all the time, which is we'll give you some time back. It's like, well, it's not really your time to give me back, but okay. But if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in. Will Skillable be able to loading the courseware with the exercise files into the labs? So Genevieve, with the content, say, and let's sort of use Microsoft official content as an example. If we're using that as an example, then with that's all right. With the content that's contained within there, we are kind of a little bit limited as to how far out of the barriers we can go with regards to what the content actually is. And there's a few logical reasons for that. One is that it gets refreshed every time that the student launches the lab. The instructions, that sort of thing, will come through within there. the instructions basically get refreshed whenever they launch, and so therefore there's some of that courseware which is going to be the instructions are going to be sitting in the instruction pane. So it wouldn't make sense to hard code that into the labs. Most of the labs, if there's something that has exercise files that are in there that are being used, like say for instance, like if there's something that's required to scripts and that's the thing that are required to be able to run, then that actually should be there should be a button generally to load that sort of content within. Again, if there's something in particular that is that you're looking for within there, we can go through the if you want to put it in through our feedback, through the feedback, we'll be able to have a look at it to see if there's something we can modify and bring. Basically able to bring in to kind of maybe make that life easier for you. So but again, depending on what the content will depend on what sort of flexibility we actually have as to what that delivery is going to look like. So but yeah, so certainly we're always looking for ways to improve the experience of our instructors. So okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'd probably need to kind of have a look at some of the specifics to see if there's what it is that we can kind of what we're referring to in there. So because if it says for the folk that are watching the recording, Genevieve's mentioned that there's each level has certain files, and being able to have that loaded in the instructions pane would be good. So again, we'll have a look at some specifics into there and see if there's something that we can improve and work with you on that, Genevieve, to make that easier for depending on what the content actually is. So right. So Excel level 3 has specific exercises. Okay. Yeah. Look at again, we'd have to have a look at it to see what was available and what so certainly from the platform perspective, there is an availability to be able to inject content, have content copied from, say for instance, a GitHub repository or something like that, have that directly injected into the virtual machines, have that in the instruction pane. As an instructor, you also have the ability to be able to inject into virtual machines of your students effectively an ISO file or a CD that you can put into their virtual machine CD-ROMs for them to be able to use as well. So yeah, so as are the teaching for different providers and using different credentials. So we do actually have a way to be able to bring all of those counts in together. So if you want to reach out to our support folk, we can actually run through that to be able to, if you have all your different accounts, we can actually add those up as well. So yeah, so you're not being punished as such because you've got you work for different training centers. So that's something in there. So right. So Genevieve, so for the Skillsoft courses, that's probably something that that certainly we could work with you on to be able to put through. So yeah. Okay. All right. So I did put this up before, but there are a bunch of resources that are available for you. So if you want to bookmark a few pages, so bookmark skillable.com/instructor-recognition, instructor-dashboard, and /mock. That's probably the main items that are in there as well. And Kristen has actually put these links to the offers and to other Skillable resources in the docs tab. And that also includes then the feedback portal as well. So if you do have any feedback, on the platform, etc., that's a really good way to kind of approach that as well. So that's the feedback.skillable.com to be able to do that. All right. Well, because we didn't have Quinn here, we've saved some time. So maybe we should never invite Quinn again. So I do appreciate your time in joining us. Hope to see some of you at Build in May, if you can make that. Otherwise, certainly like that process of having MCT or like an MCT and MVP in involvement in events. You should see more of those sort of opportunities coming out over the next next while as well. So thank you for your participation today. If you do have any feedback, of course, then run through the feedback page. But otherwise, we'll see you in the next one of these. So see you next month.